Hello, welcome to another Becoming a Mod Man. We are playing Abzan once again, and this time we are running against a rather cool fringe deck, Blink Riders, which I believe was designed by Shaheen Surani, who I played a Protein Hulk deck, Hulk Flash, a few articles ago. That was his list that I used, so yeah, he's got some pretty sweet ideas in general, but yeah, this is more just sort of general interest matchup. Probably not likely to run into this deck too often, but it is an interesting deck, and I just thought it was worth showcasing anyway. So this hand looks pretty sweet. We've got Inquisition, Tarmogoyf, Lingering Souls, and Abzan Charm, as well as 3 lands, one of which is a Treetop Village, which is always good. So Mulligan 6. I'm just going to lead off with a Treetop Village, given that it comes into play tapped, and I might want to play my Goyf on turn 2. Opponent plays Blood Crypt. Aside, rather than just running out the Goyf vulnerable, I'm going to just Inquisition, see what our opponent's working with. See Ghostly Prison, Lightning Helix, and a Wall of Omens, so instantly I know our opponent's some sort of prison style deck. This side, I think just get rid of the Ghostly Prison, just because that is potentially quite a big problem for me. Also puts an enchantment in the graveyard, which is good for the Goyf. One of them is going to be annoying, but Goyf can outgrow it, and Lingering Souls can fly over it, so that was my thinking there. Once there's Wall of Omens, draws a card. I thought sees, what did we see there, sorry. We see a Fulminator Mage that we decide we don't want our opponent to have, particularly as we only have 3 lands, and we kind of want around 4 to be really going with this deck. Also, you could kill off our Treetop Village, which would leave us without green mana, which would definitely be a problem for us right now. Our opponent is Shrine, Sacred Foundry, Helix, which is fine. Goyf is now out of Helix range, which is good, and really nothing else we have too concerned about Lightning Helix. Let's attack here. We've found a fetch land, so we can make our Goyf into a 4/5 to kill off the Wall of Omens, which we're going to do, and then we're going to run out of Lingering Souls to mount some pressure on our opponent. Ideally, or we see any sort of Ghostly Prison or anything else coming down like that. Otherwise, Avalanche Riders, which is going to kill off our Treetop Village, unfortunately. We've still got 3 lands and the potential to use an Abzan Charm to draw a couple more. Back in with all our guys, put them down to 12, run out the Overgrown 2, and then leave up mana for Abzan Charm. Probably going to draw 2 cards. Needs be. Couldn't pays the Echo for Avalanche Riders, which is interesting. It would be cool if he like cloud shifted there, I suppose. Just going to attack us for 2, and I'm going to draw 2 cards off my Abzan Charm, which gives us some more lands, which is good given what our opponent is trying to achieve. Also, dropping instant into the graveyard has increased our Goyf into a 5/6. So we're going to be able to attack for 7 here, put our opponent down to 5, drop a Siege Rhino, which will drop him down to 2, and I think that's probably going to wrap it up. Opponent plays Earth, forcing each player to sack a permanent. He's going to sack his Flagstones, which allows him to search up another land in replacement. But yeah, that's wrapped up the game. Yeah, our hand disruption preventing our opponent from really getting anything going. I suppose if he got Ghostly Prison going and then started blowing up my lands, that would have been fairly annoying, but as it was, we just got off too quick a start, and opponent's plan didn't really come together, so let's go on to game 2. Okay, so we got Path, Murderous Cut, Abrupt Decay, Siege Rhino. Not the fastest of hands, not ideal against a land destruction deck. Not sure if we kept this. Okay, this looks like I ran with it, but not entirely happy with it. Run out of Marsh Flats, draw Disenchant, which is one of the cards in our sideboard. Brought that in obviously to deal with Ghostly Prison, which is kind of a concern for me. I mean, we've got big creatures, so we can kind of deal with it, but I think it would be quite irritating in general, so brought that in. So here is the Ghostly Prison, and I'm just going to answer that straight off to avoid wasting any time, and potentially setting up for an Abzan charm next turn. I think drawing 2 cards will be very useful to make sure we keep our lands up. And we're just going to be able to disenchant the Ghostly Prison. Go for Lingering Souls just to mount some pressure. Not sure if it would be better to keep up the Abzan charm just in case we see a land destruction spell. Turns out our opponent doesn't use a land destruction spell, instead has a Jarly Vengeance, but that's going to keep the Godless Shrine tapped down, which leaves us without access to white, which is something very annoying. So we're going to attack the Vengeance here, put it down to 2, and then we're going to flash back our Lingering Souls. So now we have 4 1/1 flyers. So it keeps our Godless Shrine tapped down again, but doesn't do anything else. Per turn, I'm going to Spirit to try and kill off the Vengeance. Opponent has a Restoration Angel, which can we Murderous Cut that? Oh, we're 1 off from Murderous Cutting it, I think. So just going to have to live with that for now. But we are going to kill the Vengeance anyway, so that is positive. I haven't drawn any lands, which is quite annoying given the design of our opponent's deck. So we're just going to Inquisition here because we don't really have a whole lot else to do. Can't Abrupt Decay the Restoration Angel, unfortunately. Celestial Purge in our opponent's hand, which isn't terribly good against us. I suppose it deals with Tasker and Siege Rhino though. We're just going to get rid of that, and then our opponent's just left with a couple of lands. If we draw another land, we can cast the Siege Rhino, which again, very good position. Opponent's not doing a great deal. Attacks us for 3. And hit him for 3. And Siege Rhino brings us up to equal life totals. Fulminate Image comes down, but I'm less worried about that now that I hit my 4th land and got to run out my Siege Rhino. It's 3 in the end. Blows up our only white source, I suppose, which is a little concerning, but I'm not devastated by that situation. And we are going to win this race because we are attacking with the Siege Rhino. So get to attack for 7 here. Call Hand's Command kills off one of our turns a Fulminate Mage to our opponent's hand, but we have the Inquisition to take the Fulminate Mage back out of his hand again. So we get to kill that off. And pass the turn back to our opponent. Oh, and I just decided to kill off the Restoration Angel. Given that he's now down to 0 cards, I figure we just might as well kill off his only threat on the board, given that we have access to an answer to it, and just sort of, force him to do something more. Yeah, that wraps up the game basically. Opponent obviously didn't find anything with the top card of his deck, and is not quite dead on board, but close enough that it doesn't really matter. So yeah, that wraps that up. Obviously not great showing for the deck, but it is quite a cool deck once it gets going, and probably not its best performance. We're also lucky to be able to deal with the Ghostly Prison nice and early, which the deck, and it is quite a cool one. Might give it a try someday. I'm not sure if there's anything I particularly need for it. I'm not sure I've got any ghostly prisons, but I don't show they're particularly expensive. Commands I probably need as well. I'm not sure how many vengeance it runs either, so possibly a few cards that I need to pick up, but I've got Fulminator Mages, which might be the major expense for the deck, so maybe give that one a run sometime.